taken after the release of the redacted Mueller report found that 66% say Congress should not start impeachment proceedings. And there's a sharp partisan divide, as we all know, with only 4% of Republicans favoring impeachment. Congressman, are you concerned that impeachment talk may actually help the president's reelection?
I'm concerned that if we don't impeach this president, he will get reelected. If we don't impeach him, he will say he has been vindicated. He will say the Democrats had an overwhelming majority in the House and they didn't take up impeachment. He will say that we had a constitutional duty to do it if it was there and we didn't. He will say that he has been vindicated.
Tell you he's an extraordinary criminal investigator. So, you know, look, it's all going to be investigated. As you point out, the witnesses are being made available. Whatever this transcript is, tomorrow will be made available, and we'll see.
Okay, I'm going to bring Rudy back in. Rudy, you've been listening to this conversation.
Yeah, I sure have, and I'd like to say to
Mr.
Hahn, I should sue you for libel because you irresponsibly said.
Please.
Yeah, well, you actually usually say incredibly stupid things.
You're a public figure.
Yeah, and by the way, do you have any idea that the State Department...
So then you know the libel law.
Shut up, moron. Shut up.
Okay, hold on.
Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Chris,
you don't know what you're talking about, idiot.
I do.
The state... No, you don't. You just
Mr.
lied.
Mayor, I wish you would stop.
You lied, my friend.
I wish you would stop, Mr. Mayor.
Well, why don't you tell him to... Why don't you tell him...
I wish you would stop.
Why don't you tell him to keep his mouth shut so we can tell the truth?
Yeah, Chris,
okay?
just let Rudy
just keep your lying mouth
shut.
shut.
Respond.
Okay, he said...
Keep it on fact.
He said to me... He said about me that I was asked by the State Department to go dig up political dirt on Trump's opponent. Totally false. The State Department asked me.
You just said it.
No, I didn't. You did, you liar. You did.
Just let him finish, then you can respond.
Turn him off so I can speak.
Okay,
I do not want to be interrupted.
Let's
by
just let Rudy speak, and then we can...
From that serial liar. So, here's why I was asked by the State Department. It's all documented. They called me to facilitate a meeting between the president and Mr. Zelensky to help them do that. I met with the representative of Mr. Zelensky. We never discussed any kind of pressure about a criminal case. We never discussed any kind of quid pro quo or pressure. So I am more than willing to have anybody talk to the person that I talked to. Plus, everybody on the Ukraine side has said they weren't pressured, which they weren't. My conversation was to help the State Department facilitate a meeting. An Ambassador Volker called me. He asked me to do it. He set up the meeting or helped me to set it up. I debriefed them 3 times in great detail about it. And if that incredibly irresponsible person thinks that I would ever do anything that's illegal or unethical, maybe I'm kind of just a simple little lawyer and I'm not very good at criminal cases or criminal investigation. But I sure as heck know how to protect myself and my client. It was a perfectly appropriate, perfectly legitimate, and a completely authorized communication. And it's all documented. And once again, the Democrats just make false charges. And unfortunately, they've gotten used to it because the media enables them in doing that.
I want to read something, Rudy, and Andy McCarthy and Chris, you can
I don't know why you
this.
have that man on. I mean, it's irresponsible to say things about somebody when you don't know what you are talking about.
I'm gonna read something and then let Andy respond to this.
You don't know what you're talking about. You don't have any idea what you're talking about.
You just said.
I did not say the state.
You just said, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, guys,
you sure did. Read the transcript.
I read the transcript. I know the transcript. I know why I was asked to do it.
Of this show.
And you make irresponsible claims against the president and Republicans all the time because you don't have integrity, my friend.
Let's move on to this. I want to ask, this is a substantive point about the underlying Hunter Biden issue. And Andy McCarthy, I'd like you to chime in here. This is from the Washington Post tonight. They say the idea that this was, that Biden was trying to get this investigation dropped The allegations were baseless, writes the Washington Post. Though Hunter Biden had served on the Burisma board for 5 years, a questionable decision given his father's influential position, he was never accused of any wrongdoing by Ukrainian authorities. The probe had been shelved before any action by the vice president. And the elder Biden's efforts involved removing a prosecutor widely criticized by the West for failing to tackle corruption. Andy, that's what the Democrats say about this, that this prosecutor was, someone that was widely disliked as a corrupt person. So Biden was following that. And you say?
I say that's why God made investigations. Let's look. It seems to me that, Biden inserted himself into a situation where he had a clear conflict of interest. Now,
bingo.
The fact that somebody has a conflict of interest doesn't necessarily mean they will do anything that's illegal or unethical. If what they're saying is true, then they should welcome an investigation, because if they can prove that, then he'll look pretty good. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, Chris, I think that's a judicious, prudent approach to the facts. Do you agree with that from Andy McCarthy?
I'm always for looking into things that people are concerned about. I have no problem with that. What I am concerned about is the president using his office to assert pressure on a foreign government for political gain.
You're
and sending
making a
people
statement.
who are not representatives.
No. You're making a statement, Chris, that is not borne out by the evidence. That's what Rudy was talking about. I get you want that to be true.
This man is a joke.
I'm saying I'm against that. Look, I'm against that. And we don't know what happened with Biden, and we're against, if that was bad, we're against that too. And I'm against, look, I don't like getting into this fight with Mayor Giuliani. I had a lot of respect for him. We worked kind of near each other when I was a young aide to Senator Schumer right after 9/11, and I admired everything you did at that point. And what I see you doing now saddens me, and it saddens most New Yorkers, because you are ruining your reputation, Mr. Mayor, and it is time for you to take a step back and maybe stop going on like this.
Well,
I'm not going to.
It makes me sad. It really does.
Okay, all right.
Well, you should be.
People's reputations is not helpful.
Yeah, and also accusing.
It makes all New Yorkers sad.
Is there any chance that he will stop interrupting people?
Yeah, okay.
Can we get him under control?
Rudy, go ahead. Close it out. We got about
so
20
that man
seconds.
made a very serious accusation about me that's totally false, that I was deputized by the State Department to get involved in getting an investigation on a political opponent. That is not at all what the State Department called me about. That isn't what I did. What he said was totally false. I've watched him on this network do totally false things before, and you may have had respect for me, but I don't have any respect for you. Now, the simple fact is that Joe Biden committed enormously serious crimes. That's going to be the end result. Well, I'm going to tell you.
We don't know that either.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rudy.
I probably know more of the evidence than any of you do.
Okay, let Rudy let you close it out. I'm trying to apply the same standards to everybody, to the president and to Biden, but I haven't seen all the documents.
Well, okay, I've seen the laundered payment of $3 million. I've seen the receipts of the payments that went from China for $1 billion and then $500 million to Biden's son, who shouldn't be running any private equity fund. I kind of think I understand the Chinese. I don't think they gave it to him for his financial expertise. There's only one reason left: to compromise the vice president of the United States.
We got to go, guys.
That is disgraceful. Mr. Hahn will now yell, scream, and say all kinds of false things, but that's disgraceful.
I'm not going to yell. I'm sad.
Well,
sad for this country.
I'm sad that we didn't. We just say stick to the facts, and I know everyone gets very emotional.
Well,
Rudy's under attack.
You don't have to put somebody like that on who makes flamboyant charges that are totally false.
And then interrupt
people constantly.
All right, guys, thank you very much tonight. Andy,
You're
thank
a disgrace.
you to all of you. There's still much more to unpack on this big breaking news night. How is the House GOP leadership responding to Speaker Pelosi's overreach? House Minority Whip Steve Scalise is here next. VDH also on tap. We have a lot to get through. We'll do it.